The machines in the ICU didn't beep loudly. They whispered. Soft, steady sounds that made you lean closer, like your child's life was something fragile you might disturb if you breathed too hard. I sat beside the bed, watching my son's chest rise and fall under wires and tubes that didn't belong on someone so small. My name is Danielle Mercer, and that night I stopped believing family meant anything. The group chat had been silent for 2 days. No calls. No messages. No, how is he? Then my phone lit up. My mother. Your brother could really use $7,000 for his honeymoon. You're doing well, right? I stared at the screen, read it again, then again. The words didn't change. I didn't reply. I didn't react. I just turned the phone over and let the silence answer for me. Hours passed. The ICU stayed the same. Still, controlled, terrifying. The next morning my phone started ringing. My father. Once, twice, 3 times. I ignored it. By the 6th call, the nurse glanced at me. Do you want to take that? She asked gently. I shook my head, but when it rang the 7th time, something in me shifted. I picked up, pressed answer, and said nothing. For a second, there was only breathing on the other end. Then my father spoke, and what he said made everything inside me go completely cold. Danielle, we need to talk about the money. No, how is he? No, are you okay? Just that. My grip tightened around the phone. I'm at the hospital, I said quietly. I know, my father replied. Your mother told me. That made it worse. You know, I repeated, and this is why you're calling? He sighed like I was the difficult one. Your brother already paid deposits. Flights, hotel, everything. If he loses it, that's a lot of money gone. I stared at the glass wall of the ICU. My son lay behind it, breathing with help, fighting. And my son? I asked. There was a pause. Too long. He'll be fine, my father said finally. Kids bounce back. Kids bounce back. The words echoed in my head like something hollow. Dad, I said slowly, he's in intensive care. Yes, but you're handling it, he replied. You've always been strong. Strong. Another word that meant I didn't need support. Just expectations. So, he continued, can you send the $7,000 today? Your brother's stressing. I closed my eyes. For a moment, everything went quiet. The machines, the hallway, the world. Because in that moment, something broke cleanly. Not loudly, not dramatically, just permanently. And when I spoke again, my voice didn't shake. No. The word came out simple, flat, final. Silence filled the line. What? My father said. I'm not sending anything, I replied. Another pause. Longer this time. Then his tone changed. Danielle, don't be like that, he said, irritation creeping in. It's your brother's honeymoon. I stared through the glass at my son. Exactly, I said quietly. He's celebrating something. My father exhaled sharply. So, you're punishing him because you're stressed? That made me almost laugh. Punishing him. I hadn't even crossed their minds. No, I said calmly. I'm just not prioritizing him. That landed. Because they weren't used to hearing that. Family helps each other, my father snapped. I nodded slowly, even though he couldn't see me. Yes, I said. They do. Silence. Heavy, uncomfortable. Because now we both knew what I meant. Where were they when I needed help? Where were they when I sat alone in a hospital room watching my child fight to breathe? You're being selfish, he said finally. Selfish. That word didn't sting anymore. It clarified. I'm being a parent, I replied, and that was something they had clearly forgotten how to recognize. The line went quiet again. Then my father said something that made everything inside me go still. If you don't send it, don't expect us to be there for you. I didn't respond right away. I just listened to his breathing on the other end of the line, waiting, expecting me to fold, to apologize, to fix things like I always had. I never expected you to be, I said finally. The silence that followed was different. Not tense, not frustrated, empty. Danielle, he started. I hung up. No warning. No explanation. Just ended it. I stared at the phone for a second. Then I opened the group chat. My mother's message still sat there, untouched, like it had been sent into the wrong family. I pressed the settings, blocked her, then my father, then my brother, one by one. No hesitation. No second thoughts. The screen went quiet, completely. I set the phone down and looked back through the glass. My son's chest rose slowly, fought, held. A nurse adjusted something beside him and gave me a small, reassuring nod. You're doing great, she said softly. That almost broke me, because it was the first time anyone had said that, not asked for something, not expected something, just saw me. I sat down beside the window again, hand steady, heart clear. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't carrying them with me anymore. I was carrying him, and that was enough. The next few hours passed in fragments. Doctor updates. Nurses moving in and out. Machines whispering their quiet, relentless rhythm. I stayed in the chair beside the glass, eyes fixed on my son. Every rise of his chest felt like a victory. Every pause felt like a threat. My phone stayed face down beside me. Silent, clean, free. For the first time in years, there were no demands waiting on the other side of it. No expectations. No pressure. Just space. Around noon, the doctor approached. His expression was careful, measured. We're seeing slight improvement, he said. It's early, but it's something. Something. I held on to that word like it mattered more than anything else in the world. Can I see him? I asked. He nodded. For a few minutes. I stood slowly, legs stiff, heart steadying itself as I stepped inside the ICU room. Up close, everything looked even smaller, more fragile. I reached for his hand, carefully, gently. Hey, I whispered. His fingers didn't move, but I stayed there, because he wasn't alone. Not anymore. Later that evening, my phone lit up again. A new number, unknown. I stared at it for a second, then answered. And what I heard on the other end wasn't my family. Mrs. Mercer? The voice was calm, professional. Yes, I said. This is Karen Blake from our bank's Priority Client Services. I frowned slightly. Okay. We noticed multiple attempts to access your accounts today, she continued. Unusual activity flagged by our system. My stomach tightened. What kind of attempts? There were repeated login requests from a device not previously associated with your profile, she said. Then a direct call claiming to be you, requesting a transfer authorization. Cold settled in my chest. They tried to move funds? Yes, she replied. Specifically, $7,000. Of course. I closed my eyes briefly. And you stopped it? I asked. Immediately, she said. The caller failed security verification. A small breath left me. Thank you. There's one more thing, she added carefully. The caller provided personal details, enough that we believe it may be someone close to you. Close. I didn't need confirmation. I understand, I said quietly. We've locked your account for safety. You'll need to reset access in person. That's fine. I ended the call slowly. For a moment, I just sat there, not shocked, not even angry, just clear. Because they hadn't just asked, they had tried to take it anyway. I looked back at my son through the glass, and something inside me settled completely. This wasn't distance anymore. This was separation. Permanent. I didn't call them. I didn't confront anyone. I didn't ask questions, because I already had the answers. Instead, I called my lawyer. I need to update everything, I said. There was no hesitation in my voice. What kind of changes? He asked. Access, permissions, emergency contacts, financial authority, I replied, and something else. He paused. I want to document it that no one in my immediate family has authorization over anything connected to me or my son. Silence. Then, understood, he said. It took less than an hour. One call, a few signatures, years of access erased. Clean. Final. When I hung up, I felt something unfamiliar. Not anger, not sadness, control. That evening, the doctor came back. A small smile this time. He's responding, he said. The words hit differently. Not hope, progress. I walked into the ICU room again, sat beside my son, and took his hand. Hey. I whispered. For a second, his fingers twitched. Small, weak, but real. My breath caught because that tiny movement meant everything. Behind me, the world I had walked away from kept trying to pull me back. But in that room, nothing else mattered because for the first time in days, something was moving forward, and I was exactly where I needed to be. The next morning felt different. Not easier, but steadier. The machine still whispered. The room still smelled like antiseptic and quiet fear. But when I walked into the ICU, the nurse looked at me and smiled. He had a good night, she said. Good. That word felt like sunlight. I stepped closer, taking my son's hand again. This time, his fingers curled slightly around mine. Stronger. Present. You're doing it. I whispered. Behind me, my phone buzzed once. Unknown number again. I didn't answer. I didn't need to because I already knew what it would be. Apologies, excuses, or worse, demands dressed as concern. I silenced it, turned it face down, and stayed where I was. Later, the doctor confirmed it. He's stabilizing. Stabilizing. The world outside could wait. It had already shown me what it was, who they were, and what I was without them. I looked, clear's throat, down at my son, his breathing steady now, alive, fighting, here, and I realized something simple. I hadn't lost a family. I had found my boundary, and I chose it every time.